This is Elemental Wukong. Have you ever wondered why some bosses take certain elemental damage more compared to other bosses? This is because each boss has their own unique elemental weakness. While doing some research on the internet, I found top secret information on boss elemental weakness. Unfortunately, it is in Chinese. Don't worry, I made another table here in this video. If you read Chinese, I have also included the link in the description below. I want to thank the guy who made this table. Without this data, this video would not be possible. With this elemental weakness table, we no longer have to guess what elements to use against a boss to deal damage effectively. Let's talk about what increases your elemental damage. Transformation perks do increase your elemental damage. Therefore, you should invest your sparks into perks that are related to your elemental build. Number 2. Please listen carefully. All gears, including Curios and spirits that have an attack modifier or damage modifier, increase your elemental damage for spirit and transformation attacks only. They do not increase your damage over time. Only armors, spirits, and Curios that specify an element damage bonus, those increase your damage over time. It is also important to know that damage over time for Scorch, Frost, and Poison do not crit. Only Thunder damage crit. Number 3. Medicine buffs do not increase your elemental damage over time. What they increase is your transformation's overall damage. And lastly, attack buffs from gods such as Multi-Glazed, Immortal Blessing, and Plague Bane only increase transformation's attack damage, and again, not damage over time. With that in mind, to be OP with your elemental build, you will need to know how to use your transformations effectively. Before we get into each element, you need to know that your character becomes immune to any elemental state if your resistance is above 100. That being said, if you were to use Stormflash Lungstaff to apply Shocking State to yourself, you will need to reduce your thunder resistance. The same thing goes for poison builds. To do this, you should remove your sparks in 4 Bane's Endurance and Indestructibility perk in your Transformation tab. Or, you may reduce your Celestial buffs from Shudok at Zodiac Village in Rui's Grove or the Cellar at Crouching Tiger Temple. Additionally, if you're using Poison or Thunder builds, you should remove your sparks in Bane Mitigation so that you stay longer in your debuff for your elemental buffs, if that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about the most controversial legendary Curio in the game. That is, the Celestial Birthstone Fragment. This Curio
ignores the enemy's elemental resistance.
Sounds insane, right? No. After many tests, it does not ignore enemies with unique immunities such as Flint Vanguard, Shigandang, Stone Monkey, and so on. This Curio is only useful for bosses with high resistance against a certain element, but not with a unique immunity.
But.
Hear me out. Yes, it ignores enemies with high resistance against, let's say, poison. But you could just switch to an element that it's weak against. Which brings me to my next discovery. If you have it equipped, you take more poison damage. I'm not sure if this is intended or if it's a bug. If it's a bug, game science. Please fix your
Hey DK, are you still yapping?
Yeah?
Cut to the chase and go into the builds.
Okay. I'm sorry if you just want to look at the builds. So let's start with poison. Yao Guai Kings that are poisoned, they take a 0.24% damage over time per second of their total health for 15 seconds. This damage increases to 0.79% if it's a Yao Guai Chief. This poison build on screen utilizes Violet Hell as an opener and also the ability to proc poison hits with Elder Armor Womb and from the crit hits if needed. When the battle starts, go into Cloud Step, drink your gold for poison debuff, cast your Pluck of Many, then Weaver's Needle, immobilize, and transform into Violet Hell. Hold on to heavy attack and charge your blade. Every Weaver's Needle hit will infest the boss with lava. Once 4 lavas are planted, cast Hive Mind. You may repeat this process up to 3 times with a single transformation if you maxed out your transformation perks. However, in the 3rd round of lava planting, you will have to detransform to self-explode, detonating any lava that was planted on the enemy. Guys, you can see this is so strong. The Supreme Inspector died before even getting into phase 2. Okay, so maybe transformation is not a thing. Here's another poison build that gives you more damage over time. Don't get me wrong, You can still use Violet Hell in this build. Start with using your Spirit. I'm using Elder Armor Womb here. You may use Scorpion Prince if you prefer, but in my opinion, this Womb Spirit is broken. As I said before in my previous build video, it leaves a poison pool on the ground that stays on 2 minutes, which is a freaking long time. Whenever the enemy steps into it, they get poisoned over and over again. This boss has minus 10% poison resistance. It's taking over 200 damage per second. You could really just walk around and the battle will be over before you know it. Next up will be everyone's favorite element, Thunder. When you or the enemy are in shock state, both you and the enemy take 20% more damage. Shock state lasts for 15 seconds. This footage was recorded in NG10 because why not? Start with Red Governor, inflicting Thunder debuff, go into Cloud Stab, then charge your stuff to inflict yourself with Thunder debuff. Drink your gold, then immobilize the enemy, mobile spin to inflict Thunder again, and to gain focus point faster. Cast your Planting Fan, and this is where you do most of your Thunder damage. Pressure the enemy with your light attack combos as long as the tornado is still up. If the enemy is being pushed too far, you may roll forward once or twice in between the combos if needed. By the time the tornado is gone, you should have at least 3 focus points. Go into Cloud Stab, remember to drink your gold for the buffs, then release your heavy attack. Reapply Thunder debuff with your Spirit, then transform into Yellow Loam to get the W. Oops. Yeah. Guangmo is definitely not a pushover in NG10. You can see how fast I got one-shotted. This is also one of the reasons why I much prefer life-saving strength for my builds in high NG cycles. Alright, just Thunder elements itself and using skills is too basic for you, maybe. You want power, you want to smack the shit out of the enemies. My next build is a hybrid of Thunder, Poison and Spellbinder. After maximizing your Spellbinder with gear swapping as seen on the top right of the screen, you'll be sitting at 315 attack, 52% crit rate, and 199% crit damage. If you want to see how I maximize Spellbinder with gear swapping, it's in my Wukong stance video. The link will be on the description below. If you're good with dodging, this build has the highest DPS in the game in my opinion. Even better if the enemy is weak against Thunder or Poison. Just look at how much damage I did from a single light attack combo. You may also swap the armor out for Yaksha armor if you want a little bit more damage. But the trade-off for additional damage taken can be risky. Here's another clip of this hybrid build. Just look at how fast it melts the first Prince HP. As I mentioned earlier in this video, to fully maximize Elemental's potential in this game, you have to know how to use transformations properly. Here's a clip of Dark Thunder infinitely putting down his Ring of Thunder. What you need to do is to find a spot where Planting Fan will push your enemy to a corner, cast your Ring of Fire, have 3 focus points ready, transform and start casting the Ring of Thunder, step back into a Ring of Fire and repeat the whole rotation. And here is a clip of Golden Lightning. Your priority is to do 3 see-throughs as fast as you can. Then use your ultimate 3 times by tapping heavy attack. If you have not used Golden Lightning a lot, you have to practice for a bit. The timing for see-throughs is very similar to using a spear weapon with Wukong. And that brings us to our next element. Fire. Scorch. Whatever you want to call it. Yao Guai Kings that are in burning state, they take 0.3% damage over time per second of the total health for 10 seconds. This damage increases to 1.25% if it's a Yao Guai Chief. Earth Wolf has a minus 40% fire weakness, so I'll be using Ashen Slumber. Similar rotation as Dark Thunder. Have your 3 focus point ready, cast Ring of Fire, transform, stay in your Ring of Fire and hold on to heavy attack and watch them burn away. Take note that each Yoga Fire lasts for 6 seconds only. If the enemy has a couple charges of Scorch on them towards the end, you may de-transform to self-explode to put them into a full Scorch debuff. Mad Tiger has a minus 25% fire weakness. I'll be showcasing Red Tides in this clip. Again, very similar rotation as Dark Thunder and Ashen Slumber. Go into Cloud Stab for Auspicious Lantern buff, cast Ring of Fire, try to bring the fight near your Ring of Fire, do some light attacks to charge faster. Once fully charged, only dodge front or back and hit your heavy attack to release a strong attack. This will instantly put the enemy into scorching state. Remember not to dodge left or right for casting your ultimate, because dodging front and back has the strongest ultimate. If your enemy is still alive, you may use Flint Vanguard to finish him off. Finally, the 4th element in this game, which is Frost. When enemies are frozen, they stay frozen for 7 seconds. Upon breaking their frozen state, you do a little bit extra damage. This Frost build is similar to my Erlang build. Instead of golden armor set, I used Yaksha armor set for more damage. This is also because Falcon Hermit's chi requirement is kinda low, so golden armor set will be a little bit overkill for chi regeneration. Black Bear Guai is a little bit hitty today, so let's cool him down with a little bit of frost. At the start of the battle, you'll want to always start with Planting Fan. Charge your staff, then release your attack. Cast Falcon Hermit and start spinning your staff. If you ever need more chi, you can always use Immobilize for more staff spinning. If you notice, I chose Stormflash Longstaff here so that you do a little bit more damage with inflicting Thunder debuff onto your enemy. After a series of staff spinning, your focus point should be fully charged. You may cast Immobilize, then release your focus point attack. Cast Falcon Hermit again and continue spinning. If your enemy starts moving, roll a few times around him. Once he's frozen, then start spinning again. According to the elemental weakness table, it states that Black Bear Guai is immune to frost and burn in phase 2. Let me fast forward the video and find out. This is phase 2 here. How do you tell? If you see him burning, that's phase 2, so he's immune to frost and burn in phase 2. But did you know with the help of Planting Fan, you'll be able to remove his immunity and start putting him into freezing state again. Amazing, isn't it? Now let's immobilize him, charge up to 3 focus points and transform into Hoarfrost. By transforming into Hoarfrost with 3 focus points, you'll be able to cast your Ice Shit instantly. Your light attacks deal frost damage and has the ability to inflict frost debuff onto enemies. Your heavy attack deals the most damage, so use your heavy attack when it's safe or when the enemy is frozen. You may be wondering, how strong can Hoarfrost be? In the next clip, I'll be showcasing how Hoarfrost completely destroyed Guangzi in a single transformation. Obviously, Hoarfrost is not a very strong transformation without the help of being in low health for attack buff, medicine buffs, and auspicious lantern buff. However, this shows how powerful it is if you're using the right element against an enemy who is weak against it. Hoarfrost just did 4000 plus damage with a single Ice Shit. And with all the buffs, Hoarfrost is dealing about 400 per hit with his light attack and with the ability to freeze. Guangzi in NG4 has about 24,000 HP. And just look how fast this poor guy is being melted. Yeah, the irony of being melted by snowballs. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.